Oh, you bet it's gonna be ASMR. Sorry for being silent. I'm trying to enable something here, but it doesn't work. Also, welcome everybody to the stream. Nice you're enjoying the emotes. E-peak, as Polyzero peak, I mean. I don't know if you can unlock the tier 2 emote via the channel commands. Channel points. But yeah, if you have channel points, you can also just unlock this emote for 24 hours without having to pay anything for it, except for, channel points. So you can do that too if you don't have a if you don't want to pay for it, or if you don't have a sub. I'm trying to, so the cable USB connection didn't work. Let's actually try just not okay, doesn't work. Interesting. Connect Bluetooth. If you have not Bluetooth. Okay. Bluetooth connecting to Hey Pollex, hey Mayana, welcome. Just did it low. Nice. We have some new emotes now. Also, yeah, so I'm trying to do something that basically makes this is oops. That basically gives me a better mic quality, because this mic quality is pretty shit, especially for like a reading stream. I tried it yesterday with Gedrick on the call. It was pretty okay. There was some lag. So I'm trying to connect it via cable, which didn't work. And now I'm trying to connect it via Bluetooth, which also doesn't work right now. So if your voice is drive order. Wait, is my voice spazzing out again? Is my voice bad again? Okay, great, because sometimes, I have this robotic voice because my mic didn't connect properly. Let's kill this. Let's kill this tab. Okay, so why can't I just connect here? Yeah, I wanted to do this earlier, but I didn't have time. Dongle S24 Noise Gate Copper Palix 00 PC. Gedrick has video game trivia. Okay. Let's see. What could we offer you? Oh yeah, did you know that the first Mario game, so like the Donkey Kong game basically, was actually intended to be played with Popeye characters, so like Popeye with spinach and stuff. But Nintendo couldn't get the license, so they decided to create an original character called Mario Jumpman Mario, and that is how our beloved Mario came to be. And yeah, well, I mean, the description of the title also said you may already know it, so like, I gave you what I promised. Motor G6. I'm not complaining. Okay, so konnte nicht okay, that doesn't work. Did my music just run out? Yeah, my music died. Oh, actually, it works. Pairing durchführen. Oh, okay, great. It's gotta. Okay, okay, dope, 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 dope. Gotta bring it back and then SM80 music running out. Yeah. Let me just actually Bluetooth. Motor G6 failed to connect to server. How great. Um, Bluetooth. Okay, connect. Bluetooth. Motor G6 connect. Failed to connect to server. So, like, okay, let's just kill the VO mic client again. God, this is Motor G6 Plus. Connect, and it failed. So let's just try Wi-Fi because Wi-Fi worked yesterday. So I just hope that works today again. And if I connect here, plain speaker. Okay, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, you know. So this is in English. Gotta send you the mic tomorrow. Yeah. Well, gotta send you the birth me code key. But yeah, this is the sound we have right now. And now I'm gonna switch the input. And now you should hear me with a better sound quality. Can somebody confirm that? How is the mic sounding? I think I'm a little bit more quiet now. Wait, is it the same audio quality? It's a little bit better, but the lags are still there. Yeah, rough, man, rough. Let's put it like this. Let me just try to. Yeah, let's try to connect it via Bluetooth again, because I think I figured out what went wrong. Bluetooth connect. Okay. I think this should work. Huh. Huh. But the legs are way more prevalent. Yes. Let's let's try cable. Disconnect. Connect. I think I figured out why it didn't work via cable before, because I actually didn't make the thing go via USB. Okay. God here. Yeah. I'm so sorry. God, this is a very wackelige Angelegenheit hier. USB. Okay. So, this works? This works? Sometimes you gotta turn on a USB dig. Yeah, okay. But I think it works. And I don't think it's lagging that much. Can somebody confirm? Can you sing Wrecking Ball? That is a channel point reward. God, you're hearing nearly everything. Like, have you switched? Oh, yeah, never mind. I just did a plain speaker. Okay, so this should be the better mic quality. Can somebody confirm that this is better? I'm a little bit quieter, I think. But yeah. Yeah, not quite. It's a little bit better, yeah. Okay, so what do you think? Should we just try it with this mic or with my old mic? What does everybody think? You can hear really everything on stream, can't you? I need like a Rausch filter or something. Turn up the volume a bit, then this one is good. The thing is, I can't. It's literally on Macs, on Windows, on Streamlabs and stuff, and the only way I can turn it on my microphone, on my smartphone is to pay for the app. But yeah, maybe just try to turn it up on the on your the device you're watching from. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice. We're reading that apparently for 1 hour today. You can put in a boost volume and Streamlabs. Um, can you tell me how? Arbeiten, Szenenprojekte, Eigenschaften, Filter. There are filters. Audioverstärkung. Okay, so how is this audio? God, that must be loud. That must be loud, isn't it? Okay, yeah. Wait a lot. I'm so sorry. Oh God. Okay, how does this sound? Also adding a noise. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna add a noise gate now that I know that these filters are here. This is good. Thanks God. Thank God I have stream delay. Oh Jesus. Okay, so I have a noise gate here. Also Rauschunterdrückung. What do you think? Just noise gate in general. Schließungswert. Yeah, I think this is just good. Okay, I'm back. Bye bye. It's just jumping from super loud to super quiet. Okay, this is good. Bye bye, Ryokun. Hey, Rishka, welcome. You have Chanley mods now, Rishka. Noise gate, no more clicking noises. Oh, that is just beautiful, honestly. That is. Can you hear me type? Okay, yeah, typing is obviously there. But okay, great. So what do you think, guys? Think can we start? Um, I have disabled the sounds good enough. Thank you very much, Genrick. I have disabled the what is it called? Get up and get down reward for today because I did a big workout this morning and my abs are killing me. Twitter made me do it. Well, if you want, I can also just put in there Rishka made me do it, but okay. So yeah, I have to sing the book. Oh Jesus Christ! Jesus fucking Christ and Flam! What the fuck? Okay, so I can't obviously sing the entire book, so I'm just gonna like sing the first 5 pages. Also, I've realized. Okay, I guess I'll be streaming with the normal normal Logitech webcam. Sorry for that. Wait, this is very loud, isn't it? Yeah, sorry. Sorry, future 3 guys. Um, Mayana, maybe try Control F5. Oh, this also resets cookies, but yeah, okay, yeah, because I had connected it with a cable and the cable was very unstable. So yeah, that just fucked that up. So I guess we'll do this with the old bad mic. I'm very sorry for that. Um, okay, so go ahead, show us how proud and how prejudiced you are. I'm attracted to you. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I never read Pride and Prejudice, but it was Mr. Bennet in the play for literature class, and that was very terrible. So enough general points to make you sing that 6 minutes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I have to disable this reward for today because I just want to get over reading this. Ah, Lord. Isn't Superbia bright? Yeah, that's. I wanted to make that joke actually. Like, okay, let's see what Superbia has to do with this book and stuff. But well, let's just disable this and this for today. I love the music. Imagine having a channel reward for making you eat paper. What the fuck, Gedrick? What the fuck? Also, yeah, Gedrick got affiliate too. So go follow him and subscribe to him if you can. Um, but yeah, let's start this. I actually have a little problem because I needed post-its for close reading. So like, yeah, oh, emotes take a while. So I need like post-its for close reading because I need to mark like the places, the big places, the important places because I gotta pay attention to like where is it here? Education, class, uh, style of narration, romantic relationships, gender roles, education, and stuff. And so yeah. Mayana, have you maybe do you maybe have two little pal points? Maybe that's the problem. Just have chips right next to you, make that a reward. I actually don't like chips. Um, it wa- it almost Jesus Christ. Chat is a shitpost today, isn't it? Isn't it? Okay, so yeah, so I'll just have a little text document open where I like write down page numbers for important things. But yeah, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. We're gonna try to do this until like 9 p.m. Um, and yeah, if my voice isn't completely dead, um, then we should then we should um Oh, Mayan, I think I know what your problem is. For like Mystery Tea Time and stuff, you have to actually enter in text and then send that. So it has to send both. So like that's also for the chicken nugget sauce, I think, and yeah, generally. Like drink is just me drinking, but for like the Mystery Tea Award, I need your input, so you need to write something. So if you write something and then send that message, that should work. That's also the way how it works for me. But yeah, let's just head right in there. Um, I need to sing the first 5 pages because I was dumb. Pause the arcs. I'm trying to listen to Alex. I shouldn't. I shouldn't look at chat today. This is gonna be horrible. 5 pages, Jesus. 5 pages. I mean, he redeemed that. You're not dumb. It's okay. It's also very weird. Um, you're not use it. Wow, the first page is really like this. Looks like the original print, like original thing. But yeah. Chapter 1. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. However little known the feelings or views of such a man may be on his first entering a neighborhood. This truth is so well fixed in the minds of the surrounding families that he is considered as the rightful property of some one or other of the daughters. Are you sure you want this enflammed? Can you just like send me a different song? Because like this is technically not a song. Okay, if this works, I choose 7. Okay, Mayana has redeemed Mystery Tea Time. Guess I won't be reading the book. Let's just pull up this here. Let's see. This is 1, 2. Wait, I can actually just go to 7. 7. Okay, let's see what tea flavor it is. Uh, and it looks like China something. Oh lord, I'm actually scared of this tea. It's called China Gunpowder. It's a green tea. Um, the most well-known Chinese green tea in all the world. The round leaf gives the name fresh, herrlich robuste Tasse oder Tassenfarbe. The fuck. So yeah, this needs to brew like only a minute. How strong is this? I promise it is not poisoned. Oh god. Okay, so I'll be making myself this tea now. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Love it, keep going. Okay, I need to actually sing like the... I sent you a check, you can use the Discord, Jesus Christ. Okay, I will be wrapping Pride and Prejudice. I need to reread those 5 pages, I think. But yeah, I'll be back in a second. I'm gonna put on some music for you. Okay, so the tea actually smells like, yeah, it smells like rabbit food, and um it it looked like weed. It doesn't smell like anything. It just like, I'm not sure. Like it said to only let it brew for like in a minute, but like, come on, that needs to be brew higher. But yeah, it needs to um chill a little bit before I can drink it. Thank you for my own requesting this, but also, Jesus Christ. But yeah, let's listen. Let it smell like rabbit foot. Then Jesus Christ. Me. Hey, I should read Pride and Prejudice on stream so I don't get easily distracted, because that's what I do when I normally just read books. Twitch chat distracts me. Big brain by me. But yeah, let's listen to the beat that Gedrick sent us on. What? Okay. Yeah. Chapter 1. But it has voice, so I haven't listened to it. Okay, never mind. You just sent me one. Jesus Christ. Okay, so my dear Bennet, said his lady to him one day, have you heard the Netherfield Park is let at last? Mr. Bennet replied that he had not. But it is, returned she, for Miss Longjaws had been here, and she told me all about it. Mr. Bennet made no answer. Do not you want to know who has taken it? Cried his wife impatiently. You want to tell me, and I have no objection to hearing it. This was invitation enough. Why, my dear, you must know Mrs. Long says the Netherfield is taken by a young man of large fortune from the north of England, that he came down on Monday in a chaise and four to see the place, and was so much delighted with it that he agreed with Mr. Morris immediately that he is to take possession before Michaelmas, and some of his servants are to be in the house by the end of next week. That is not in the beat. What is his name? Bingley. Is he married or single? Oh, single, my dear, to be sure. A single man of large fortune, 4,000 or 5,000 a year. What a fine thing for a girl's house. How can it affect them? My dear Mr. Bennet, replied his wife, how can you be so tiresome? You must know that I'm thinking of his marrying one of them. Is that his design in settling here? Design? Nonsense! How can you talk so? But it is very likely that he may fall in love with one of them, and therefore you must visit him as soon as he comes. I see no occasion. Fuck. This is wild XX pronunciation. I see no occasion for that. You and the girls may go, or you may send them by themselves, which perhaps will be still better for you as you are as handsome as any of them. Mr. Bingley might like you the best of the party. My dear, you flatter me. I certainly have had my share of beauty, but I do not pretend to be anything extraordinary. Now, when a woman has 5 grown-up daughters, she ought to give over thinking of her own beauty. In such cases, a woman has not often much beauty to think of. But, my dear, you must indeed go and see Mr. Bingley when he comes into the neighborhood. It is more than I engage you for, I assure you. Oh, yeah. But consider your daughters. Only think what an establishment it would be for one of them. So William and Lady Lucas are determined to go, merely on that account. For in general, you know they visit no newcomers. Indeed, you must go, for it will be impossible for us to visit him if you do not. You and the track stop. Fuck. Let me just I desire you will do no such thing. Lizzie is not a bitch. Wait, I actually skipped over something. You are over scrupulous, surely. I dare say Mr. Bingley will be very glad to see you, and I will send a few lines by you to assure him of my hearty consent to his marrying, whichever he chooses, of the girls. Though I must throw in a good word for my little Lizzie, yeah. I desire you will do no such thing. Lizzie is not a bit better than the others, and I am sure she is not half so handsome as Jane, nor half so good-humored as Lydia, but you are always giving her the preference. They have none of them much to recommend them, replied he. They are all silly and ignorant, like other girls, but Lizzie has something more of quickness than her sisters. Mr. Bennet, how can you abuse your own children in such a way? You take delight in vexing me. You have no compassion on my poor nerves. You mistake me, my dear. I have high respect for your nerves. They are my old friends. I have heard you mention them with consideration these 20 years at least. Ah, you do not know what I suffer, but I hope you will get over it and live to see many young. Jesus Christ. Young man of 4,000 a year come into the. Okay, it ran out again. Jesus Christ. It will be no use to us if 20 such should come, since you will not visit them. Depend upon it, my dear, that when there are 20 I will visit them all. Mr. Bennet was so odd, a mixture of quick parts, sarcastic humor, reserve, and caprice, that the experience of 23 years had been insufficient to make his wife understand his character. Her mind was less difficult to develop. She was a woman of mean understanding, little information, and uncertain temper. When she was discontented, she fancied herself nervous. The business of her life was to get her daughters married. Its solace was visiting and news. But one rapper Eminem is too afraid to attack me and hype. It actually like I mean the reward is called make your ears bleed, and I think I succeeded in that. But also like honestly, it went way better than expected. Like especially like that Mr. Bennett was a mixture of quick parts, sarcastic humor, reserve and that like that rhymed. Holy shit! I just Cardi B, who? Jesus Christ. Also, legit, I understood what I rapped. That is the most impressive part. Crap, please need to okay. Let me just read up on chat and show you code 70. Stop cheering for me. Also, I need to like put this a little bit down. It's been infectable, Liz, you know? Stop cheering for me. I haven't listened to LOL, the first one that came out. Distracting Boys got this hilarious MC Pelix, your little Pelix, oh. Pelix Exuries, this is wild. Pelix, I didn't get a single line of what he said until now. Don't know what he's saying, but he's spitting fact. Spitting bars as hard as the sun, counting plasma. Mariana just be, please no, Alex, have mercy on us. That high respect, Ellie just for the cheer, Jesus Christ. Thanks for the 10 bits. Gedrick, thanks for the 20 bits. Flip it, rapping, Pride and Prejudice, gotta be here, gotta be gone, here comes Palex. These were either the worst or the best few minutes of my life, I can decide. Missy Elliott is cancelled, we have Palex. Wasn't that tea? Straight up pure rap skills. Oh, yo. God, my face hurts because I'm laughing so much. This is a huge shitpost. Yes, this is exactly the intention of this. The best shitpost ever. Oh, okay. So I think this rap part is very unusual for this book. I was very surprised by it, but I think it captures the what how to put it the essence of the patriarchy. What is the patriarchat? Patriarchy um, of like the suppression of women very well. Like we saw here. Yeah, he just like a boy moves in. The first thing, yeah, marry the daughters. Like always, like it says here, you always have. If you're a mother, you have to think about your daughters first. If you're a mother, you have to think about your daughters. And the tea was a mistake. I actually didn't drink the tea yet because it's still too hot. Like it's legit still too hot. Um, you know, still tried. So yeah, so we're on page 6. It has been half an hour. Um, so yeah, let's just read for real now. Actually, let me just remove. I don't know if I should remove my headphones. I think so, so I can hear myself actually. So yeah, to become a regular. So the thing is, I need to have finished this and the portfolio by Thursday. So I just need to get started in the stream. We may be reading others, but I don't think I can read Pride and Prejudice twice. But yeah, Mr. Bennet was chapter 2. Mr. Bennet. So yeah, actually, let's make a reward where you can redeem my accent. Hot take: Jane Austen wants to write a hip hop musical, but couldn't because Lin-Manuel Miranda hadn't invented musical yet at Patriarchy, and that's why it was so easy to rap. You know, I mean, I could propose to my professor as a Studienleistung that I need to rap Pride and Prejudice, and then he'll just like accept me into the. Hey Leo Beal, you missed me rapping Pride and Prejudice on stream. Um, something big. You mean you missed Big Palex? Hell yeah! But yeah, okay. So like I'm gonna try to make like a proposal to your prof. I'm gonna propose to my prof. Just no propose that to your prof. Just proposing to my prof. But yeah, I'm gonna try a like a Scottish accent. Mr. Bennet was among the earliest of those who waited on Mr. Bingley. He had always intended to visit him, though to the last always assuring his wife that he should not go. Until the evening after the visit was paid, she had no knowledge of it. It was then disclosed in the following manner. Observing a second daughter employed in trimming a hat, he suddenly addressed her with, "I hope Mr. Bingley would like it, Lizzie." "We are not in a way to know what Mr. Bingley likes," said her mother resentfully, "since we are not to visit." "But you forget, mamma," said Elizabeth, "that we shall meet him at the assemblies, and that Mrs. Long has promised to introduce him." "I do not believe Mrs. Long will do any such thing. She has 2 nieces of her own. She is a selfish, hypocritical woman, and I have no opinion of her." "No more have I," said Mr. Bennet, "and I am glad to find that you do not depend on her serving you." Mrs. Bennet deigned not to make any reply, but unable to contain herself, began scolding one of her daughters. "Don't keep coughing so, Kitty, for heaven's sake! Have a little compassion on my nerves. You tear them to pieces. Kitty has no discretion in her coughs, said her father. She times them ill. I do not cough for my own amusement, replied Kitty fretfully. When is your next ball to be, Lizzie? Tomorrow fortnight. Aye, so it is, cried her mother. And Miss Long does not come back till the day before, so it will be impossible for her to introduce him, for she will not know him herself. Then, my dear, you may have the advantage of your friend, and introduce Mr. Bingley to her. Impossible, Mr. Bennet, impossible. What am I not acquainted with him myself? How can you be so teasing? I honour your circumspection. A fortnight's acquaintance is certainly very, very little. One cannot know what a man really is by the end of a fortnight. Am I just Jesus Christ, I just want to say, am I just saying fortnight and Kendrick just putting straight up fortnight in chat? Um we drop in at Mr. Bingley's, of course. Um yeah, I'm gonna stop like after reading 2 pages and like catch up on chat because I obviously can like read and chat at the same time. Very interesting to see like pages 6 to 7. Um, it's all about like mother with his mother. And like she dislikes them because she's selfish, but at the same time she's selfish herself. So we're at page 7, and this has 380 pages. Fine, isn't that just nice? Um, by the way, in case you didn't notice it, I changed the nice reward because it got a little spamish, but I think this is a valid replacement. Mm. Oh Lord, this tea is strong. Mm. Man, it feels like I'm drinking pepper. Holy shit! Like I legit wanna put like 3 teaspoons of sugar um in it, but like the real one is 6969 for a full minute of now. So I should do that. It's amazing drink. But yeah, I'm probably gonna put sugar in that after a while. But yeah, let's just um I honour your circumspection. A fortnight's acquaintance is certainly very little. One cannot know what a man really is by the end of a fortnight. But if we do not venture, somebody else will. And after all, Mrs. Long and her nieces must stand a chance. And therefore, as she will think it an act of kindness if you decline the office, I will take it on myself. The girls stared at their father. Mrs. Bennet said only, "Nonsense! Nonsense!" "What can be the meaning of that emphatic exclamation?" cried he. "Do you consider the forms of introduction and the stress that is laid on them as nonsense? I cannot quite agree with you there. What say you, Mary? For you are a young lady of deep reflection, I know, and read great books and make extracts." So that's how Code 17 tastes like. Jesus Christ. Fortnite. Um, Mary wished to say something very sensible, but knew not how. "While Mary is adjusting her ideas," he continued, "let us return to Mr. Bingley." "I am sick of Mr. Bingley," cried his wife. "I am sorry to hear that. But why did not you tell me so before? If I had known as much this morning, I certainly would not have called on him. It is very unlucky, but as I have actually paid the visit, we cannot escape the acquaintance now." The astonishment of the ladies was just what he wished, that of Miss Bennet perhaps surpassing the rest. Though when the first tumult of joy was over, she began to declare that it was what she had expected all the while. "How good it was in you, my dear Mr. Bennet! But I knew I should I can just persuade you at last. I was sure you loved your girls too well to neglect such an acquaintance. Well, how pleased I am! And it's such a good joke, too, that you should have gone this morning and never said a word about it till now." "Now, Kitty, you may cough as you choose," said Mr. Bennet, and as he spoke he left the room, fatigued with the rapture of his wife. "What an excellent father you have, girl! What an excellent father you have, girls!" said she, when the door was shut. I do not know how you will ever make him amends for his kindness, or me either, for that matter. At our time of life it is not so pleasant, I can tell you, to be making new acquaintance every day, but for your sakes we would do anything. Lydia, my love, though you are the youngest, I dare say Mr. Bingley will dance with you at the next ball. Oh, said Lydia stoutly, I am not afraid, for though I am the youngest, I am the tallest. The rest of the evening was spent in conjecturing how soon he would return Mr. Bennet's visit, and determining when they should ask him to dinner. Also, that's Cornesic. What? Cornesic? Chapter. How do I have 8 viewers on this fucking book? Imagine being told. Just shitpost in the chat while reading. Interesting to see. Like here, you can see in this chapter, in chapter 2. Actually, let me write that down. The daughters and mothers. So I'm just gonna say the woman want want the father to do something, and knock him. But as soon as he does that, it's like, oh my God, thank you so much for doing this. You're so great and honorable and stuff. Even though they wanted it themselves, so this is like you should do it. But when he does it, they're treating it like, oh my God, um, so much greatness and stuff. The woman wanted father to do something. When he does it, they get a foot to that. Man, you're making me hungry for Subway. Yeah, chapter 3. I think the chapters are quite, like 4 pages each. So I'm just gonna stop reading after every chapter. Yeah, chapter 3. Not all that Mrs. Bennet, however, with the assistance of her 5 daughters, could ask on the subject was sufficient to draw from her husband any satisfactory description of Mr. Bingley. They attacked him in various ways, with barefaced questions, ingenious suppositions. Jesus Christ, this check is. They attacked him in various ways, with barefaced questions, ingenious suppositions, and distant surmises, but he eluded the skill of them all, and they were at least obliged to accept the second-hand intelligence of their neighbour Lady Lucas. Her report was highly favourable. Sir William has been delighted with him. He was quite young, wonderfully handsome, extremely agreeable, and to crown the whole, he meant to be at the next assembly with a large party. Nothing could be more delightful. To be fond of dancing was a certain step towards falling in love, and very lively hopes of Mr. Bingley's heart were entertained. If I can but see one of my daughters happily settled at Netherfield, said Mrs. Bennet to her husband, and all the others equally well married, I shall have nothing to wish for. In a few days Mr. Bingley returned Mr. Bennet's visit, and sat about 10 minutes with him in his library. He had entertained hopes of being admitted to a sight of the young ladies of whose beauty he had heard much, but he saw only the father. The ladies were somewhat more fortunate, for they had the advantage of ascertaining from an upper window that he wore a blue coat and rode a black horse. An invitation to dinner was soon afterwards dispatched, and already had Mrs. Bennet planned the courses that were to do credit to her housekeeping, when an answer arrived which deferred it all. Mr. Bingley was obliged to be in town the following day, and consequently unable to accept the honour of her invitation. NC? It's just NC written on there. No, actually delete this. Nope, I can only find this. That novel is pretty boring. And yeah, sure, rapid gonna pass the book. I'm trying. I mean, it's called Pride and Prejudice. What do you expect, Gary? So that's what I only want to do now. But yeah, I'm gonna end it at 9 p.m. Maybe gonna play Birth Me Code for an hour or something, and then I'm just gonna have to read it alone. Mrs. Bennet was quite disconcerted. She could not imagine what business he could have in town in so soon after his arrival in Hertfordshire, and she began to fear that he might be always flying about from one place to another, and never settled at Netherfield as he ought to be. Lady Lucas quieted her fears a little by starting the idea of his being gone to London only to get a large party for the ball, and a report soon followed that Mr. Bingley was to bring 12 ladies and 7 gentlemen with him to the assembly. The girls grieved over such a number of ladies, but were comforted the day before the ball by hearing that instead of 12 he had brought only 6 with him from London, his 5 sisters and a cousin, and when the party entered the assembly room it consisted of only 5 altogether: Mr. Bingley, his 2 sisters, the husband of the eldest, and another young man. Mr. Bingley was good-looking and gentlemanlike; he had a pleasant countenance and easy unaffected manners. His sisters were fine women with an air of decided fashion. His brothers-in-law, Mr. Hurst, merely looked at the gentleman, but his friend Mr. Darcy soon drew the attention of the room by his fine tall person, handsome features, noble mien, and the report which was in general circulation within 5 minutes after his entrance, of his having 10,000 a year. The gentlemen pronounced him to be a fine figure of a man; the ladies declared he was much handsomer than Mr. Bingley, and he was looked at with great admiration for about half the evening, till his manners gave a disgust which turned the tide of his popularity, for he was discovered to be proud, to be above his company and above being pleased, and not all his large estate in Derbyshire could then save him from having a most forbidding, disagreeable countenance, and being unworthy to be compared with his friend. Mr. Bingley had soon made himself acquainted with all the principal people in the room. He was lively and unreserved, danced every dance, was angry that the ball closed so early, and talked of giving one himself at Netherfield. Such amiable qualities must speak for themselves. What a contrast between him and his friend! Mr. Darcy danced only once with Mrs. Hurst, and once with Miss Bingley, declined being introduced to any other lady, and spent the rest of the evening in walking about the room, speaking occasionally to one of his own party. Mood, very mood. Um, he was the proudest, most disagreeable man in the world, and everybody hoped. Everybody, wow, it's okay. It's really everybody, like so it's like every in body and not everybody. That's weird. Okay. And everybody hoped that he would never come there again. Amongst the most violent against him was Mrs. Bennet, whose dislike of his general behaviour was sharpened into particular resentment by his having slighted one of her daughters. Elizabeth Bennet had been obliged, by the scarcity of her gentlemen, to sit down for the 2 dances, and during part of that time Mr. Darcy had been standing near enough for her to overhear a conversation between him and Mr. Bingley, who came from the dance for a few minutes to press his friend to join it. "Come, Darcy," said he, "I must have you dance. I hate to see you standing about it by yourself in this stupid manner. You had much better dance." "I certainly shall not. You know how I detest it, unless I am particularly acquainted with my partner. At such an assembly as this it would be insupportable. Your sisters are engaged, and there is not another woman in the room whom it would not be a punishment to me to stand up with." "I would not be so fastidious as you are," cried Bingley. "For a kingdom! Upon my honour, I never met with so many pleasant girls in my life as I have this evening, and there are several of them you see uncommonly pretty. Chat cute, by the way, chat cute. So same. "You are dancing with the only handsome girl in the room," said Mr. Darcy, looking at the eldest Mrs. Bennet. "Oh, she's the most beautiful creature I ever beheld. But there is one of her sisters sitting down just behind you, who is very pretty, and I dare say very agreeable. Do let me ask my partner to introduce you." "Which do you mean?" And turning round, he looked for a moment at Elizabeth, till catching her eye, he withdrew his own and coldly said, "She is tolerable, but not handsome enough to tempt me, and I am in no humour at present to give consequence to young ladies who are slighted by other men. You had better return to your partner and enjoy her smiles, for you are wasting the time with me." Mr. Bingley followed his advice. Mr. Darcy walked off, and Elizabeth remained with no very cordial feelings towards him. She told the story, however, with great spirit among her friends, for she had a lively, playful disposition which delighted in anything ridiculous. The evening altogether passed off pleasantly to the whole family. Mrs. Bennet had seen her eldest daughter much admired by the Netherfield party. Mr. Bingley had danced with her twice, and she had been distinguished by his sisters. Jane was as much gratified by this as her mother could be, though in a quieter way. Elizabeth felt Jane's pleasure. Mary had heard herself mentioned to Miss Bingley as the most accomplished girl in the neighbourhood, And Catherine and Lydia has been fortunate enough to be never without partners, which was all that they had yet learned to care for no more. They returned therefore in good spirits to Longbourn, the village where they lived and of which they were the principal inhabitants. They found Mr. Bennet still up. With a book he was regardless of time, and on the present occasion he had a good deal of curiosity as to the event of an evening which had raised such splendid expectations. He had rather hoped that all his wife's view on the stranger would be disappointed, but he soon found that he had a very different story to hear. "Oh, my dear Mr. Bennet," as she entered the room, "we have had a most delightful evening, a most excellent ball. I wish you had been there. Jane was so admired, nothing could be like it. Everybody said how well she looked, and Mr. Bingley thought her quite beautiful and danced with her twice. Only think of that, my dear. He actually danced with her twice, and she was the only creature in the room that he asked a second time. First of all he asked Miss Lucas. I was so vexed to see him stand up with her, but however, he did not admire her at all. Indeed, nobody can, you know. And he seemed quite struck with Jane as she was going down the dance. So he inquired who she was and got introduced and asked for her for the two next. Then the two third he danced with Miss King, and the two fourth with Maria Lucas, and the two fifth with Jane again, and the two sixth with Lizzie and the Boulanger. If he had any compassion for me, cried her husband impatiently, he would not have danced half so much, for God's sake. Say no more of his partners. Oh, that he had sprained his ankle in the first dance. Oh, my dear, continued Mrs. Bennet, I am quite delighted with him. He is so excessively handsome, and his sister so charming woman. I never in my life saw anything more elegant than her dresses, than their dresses. I dare say the lace upon Miss Hurst's gown. Here she was interrupted again. Bennet protested against any description of finery. She was therefore obliged to seek another branch of the subject, and related with much bitterness of spirit and some exaggeration the shocking rudeness of Mr. Darcy. But I can assure you, she added, that Lizzie does not lose much by not suiting his fancy, for he is a most disagreeable, horrid man, not at all worth pleasing, so high and so conceited that there was no enduring him. He walked here, he walked and he walked there, fancying himself so very great, not handsome enough to dance with. I wish you had been there, my dear, to have given him one of your set-downs. I quite detest the man. Dance with the twice. Outrage, I know. Imagine ebook meme, Pride, the cool Pride. Not Pride. I'm reading up on chat again because we're done with the chapter. Although weird words, but I can write them. Fancy word like choose. How do you know how choose is spelled, gamer? So like, what the hell? Just reading all the S's on the wall. Whatever. I have no idea. Dance. My brain goes into this dance. Is the author thirsty? I mean, someone is pretty thirsty. Disagreeable, horrid man. Yes, we all know one. And he's the president. And they were roommates. God, I just split myself with water. Um, so what so far happened? So basically, there is a man with a woman, and they have like, oh, here's the thing. They have like 5 daughters because they hacked a lot, like bunnies basically, and a new fancy chap called Mr. Bingley moved in down the town, down the road, and apparently Mr. Bingley is he was a boy, she was a girl. Choose. I was making up a fancy word for cheese. That's actually how choose was wrote in the book. So that's very weird that you actually got that. But yeah, what I want to say, yeah, Mr. Bingley moved in down the road. He is a very can I make it more? Let's drink. Thank you, Mayana. I'll drink my sip again. And yeah, moved down the road, and the woman, so like the wife wants to marry one of the daughters to her because like, oh man, if they marry him, then they're like all set for life and stuff. And so she was like, Dad, can you please go visit him and say like hello? So they also have to come here. to say hello. And then he went there, and he came back, and then he got like the girls got invited for a ball, um, at Bingley's. Bingley is the um rich dude, and yeah, this is what we read. Also, like Bingley should be very happy that he's rich, because if he wasn't rich, nobody would date him. Like, who the fuck wants to be called Bingley with like the last name? Get invited to rich balls. Gedrick? Yes. Yes. Ah. I just drank a sip of the China gunpowder. Holy shit, that is the most like most. Is pepper spicy or pepperig? I don't know. That is. How are you supposed to drink that? I drink like only a sip, and it was like, whew. I gotta like drown myself with sugar and the pepper spicy. Yeah. Okay, so it's spicy tea, spicy water. The gold digger. I mean, yes, and the daughters aren't themselves gold diggers, but like the mother is. Could you call it prostitution? Alex being a very white person. Jesus Christ. Rishka, you're more white than me. I'm half Polish. I should know the spices. You know, I drank, what is it called? Shit. Gosh. Uh, Jurek, more spicy than anything you have um, ever tasted. Ja mogę mówić po polsku, troszkę po polsku, tylko ja nie jestem tak dobry, i ja tylko umiem mówić essen. I can only order at a restaurant. Would it taste better if it was? Yes, because I would die. Lasagna or gunpowder? I think it's called gunpowder. I want to learn some Polish at some point. Don't. It's horrible. I only spoke like Polish till my third year, and then I unlearned it everything, and then I had to learn a little bit. Like I didn't learn, I just picked it up. So now I can pretty much understand many things, but I cannot hear it, and like I cannot speak it except like a little bit. I cannot read it at all, and yeah, I'm unlearning so much. My brother was much the same. He basically forgot a lot of Polish, but then he met a cute girl who was Polish, so he had to relearn Polish. Now they live together. So yeah, and they were roommates. Not that is actually not the meaning. It's that they were roommates. But yeah. Is everybody ready for chapter 4? And they are. Hmm. When Jane and by the way, can Chad tell me who the fuck Elizabeth and Jane is? Or like are they daughters of Mr. Brightly or whatever his name is? Like the what's a B note on a viola? The B note on a viola? I haven't played the viola. I have only played the keyboard. Elizabeth is a person in this book. True. I wish there was like with plays there is always such a like a character list in the beginning. Like I legit miss that in books now because like this is normal novel and not like play. So yeah. Um. A lol. It actually got delivered on my birthday, like 24th April. Oh damn, we almost reached the 9 p.m. mark. Okay, so let's just read chapter 4. It's like 4 pages, and then we'll switch to a game or something. I don't know. I wanna end the stream by 10 p.m. because I low-key wanna rate Small and One. Because it's his birthday today. Is the VR question serious? I play maybe I can help. I don't think I'm ready for this thrilling action. This is a character jump. Chapter 4. When Jane and Elizabeth were alone, the former, who had been cautious in her praise of Mr. Bingley before, expressed to her sister how very much she admired him. "He is just what a young man ought to be," said she, "sensible, good-humoured, lively, and I never saw such happy manners, so much ease with such perfect good breeding. Jad, mon que tu es?" "He is also handsome," replied Elizabeth. which a young man ought likewise to be, if he possibly can. His character is thereby complete. I feel called out. Um, I was very much flattered by his art. They're just they're just going for the cool, like the Chads, and like personality doesn't matter and stuff. Like, why are all girls in this book from 980 something going for the Chads and not for me, SMH? Um, I was very much flattered by his asking me to dance a second time. I did not expect such a compliment. Did not you? I did for you. That is legend how it is wrote here. What the fuck? But that is one great difference between us. Compliments always take you by surprise, and me never. What could be more natural than his asking you again? He could not help seeing that you were about 5 times as pretty as every other woman in the room. No thanks to his gallantry for that. Well, he certainly is very agreeable, and I give you leave to like him. You have liked many a stupider person. Here, Lizzie. Oh, you're a great deal too apt, you know, to like people in general. You never see a fault in anybody. All the world are good and agreeable in your eyes. I never heard you speak ill of a human being in my life. I would wish not to be hasty in censoring anyone, but I always speak what I think. I know you do, and it is that which makes the wonder, with your good sense, to be so honestly blind to the follies and nonsense of others. Affectation of candour is common enough. One meets it everywhere. But to be candid without ostentation or design, to take the good of everybody's character and make it still better, and say nothing of the bad, belongs to you alone. And so you like this man's sister too, do you? Their manners are not equal to his. Certainly not, at first. But they are a very pleasing woman when you converse with them. Miss Bingley is to live with her brother and keep his house, and I am much mistaken if we shall not find a very charming neighbour in her. Elizabeth listened in silence, but she was not convinced. The behaviour at the assembly had not been calculated to please in general, and with more quickness of observation and less pliancy of temper than her sister, and with a judgment too unassailed by any attention to herself, she was very little disposed to approve them. They were in fact very fine ladies, not deficient in good humour when they were pleased, nor in the power of being agreeable while they chose it, but proud and conceited. They were rather handsome, had been educated in one of the first private seminaries in town, had a fortune of £20,000, were in the habit of spending more than they ought, and of associating with people of rank, and were therefore in every respect entitled to think well of themselves, and mainly of others. They were a respectable family in the north of England, a circumstance more deeply impressed on the memories than that their brother's fortune and their own had been acquired by trade. Mr. Bingley inherited property to the amount of nearly £100,000 from his father, who had intended to purchase an estate, but did not live to do it. Mr. Bingley intended it likewise, and sometimes made choice of his county, but as he was now provided with a good house and the liberty of a manor, it was doubtful to many of those who best knew the easiness of his temper whether he might not spend the remainder of his days at Netherfield, and leave the next generation to purchase. His sisters were very anxious for his having an estate of his own, but though he was not established only as a tenant, Miss Bingley was by no means unwilling to preside at his table, nor was Mrs. Hurst, who had married a man of more fashion than fortune, less disposed to consider his house as her home when it suited her. Mr. Bingley had not been of age 2 years when he was tempted by an accidental recommendation to look at Netherfield House. He did look at it and into it for half an hour, was pleased with the situation and the principal rooms, satisfied with what the owner said in praise, and took it immediately. Between him and Darcy there was a very steady friendship, in spite of a great opposition of character. Bingley was endeared to Darcy by the easiness, openness, ductility of his temper, though no disposition could offer a greater contrast to his own, and though with his own he never appeared dissatisfied. On the strength of Darcy's regard, Bingley had the firmest reliance, and of his judgment the highest opinion. In understanding, Darcy was the superior. Bingley was by no means deficient, but Darcy was clever. He was at the same time haughty, reserved, and fastidious, and his manner, though well bred, were not inviting. In that respect his friend had greatly the advantage. Bingley was sure of being liked wherever he appeared. Darcy was continually giving offence. The manner in which they spoke of the Meryton assembly was sufficiently characteristic. Bingley had never met with pleasanter people or prettier girls in his life. Everybody had been most kind and attentive to him. Oh, that was my lunch. I'm sorry. Um, there had been no formality, no stiffness. He had soon felt acquainted with all the room, and as to Miss Bennet, he could not conceive an angel more beautiful. Darcy, on the contrary, had seen a collection of people in whom there was little beauty and no fashion, from none of whom he had felt the smallest interest, and from none received either attention or pleasure. Miss Bennet he acknowledged to be pretty, but she smiled too much. Oof. Miss Hurst and her sister allowed it to be so, but still they admired her and they liked her, and pronounced her to be a sweet girl, and one whom they should not object to know more of. Miss Bennet was therefore established as a sweet girl, and their brother felt authorized by such commendation to think of her as he should. That was chapter 5. Agreeable. Let's read up on Chad. I probably never would have read this book myself, so thanks for. Well, I mean, I won't read the entirety of Stream. I just wanted to do 1 hour today to get into it. Girls are slaves, not sweatshop workers. Jesus Christ. Agreeable. One word, agreeable. One word, Queen Elizabeth. The sisters maybe be twins. No, Gedrick, no. Of age is all I heard. It's gone. Jesus Christ, Chad. This is a classic. Why do you slander it so much? But yeah, it's 9 p.m. I can continue reading. I mean, this was only like 18 pages, like 16 pages extra, so I have to like read 10 times as much. Classic prawn. What? Um. So yeah. I have. The chat has the. Let me actually just the cool get reminds and memes. Let me just. Not saying you're cute. Gamer Soul, it's your. Not saying prawn. That's yours. Jesus Christ. Um. Here. Great. Okay, so let's do a poll. What should I do? Continue? Don't mind me. No. Pride and Prejudice. Continue reading. Play Birth Me Code. Um. Yeah, I won't do. What is it called? Yeah, not that today. Um. Yeah, let's just put that. Okay, so let's do a poll. You can. There it is. Okay, so I have a poll. You can now vote on the poll what we should do. Either continue reading, playing Birth Me Code for an hour, or Picross. So you can vote on mobile as well as on desktop. The poll is for like 30 more seconds, I think. For the poll, it's up there. If you have desktop client, it's up there. It's the Twitch poll. So right now, it's not looking good for continuing reading. Honestly, same. I also made it that you can apparently use channel points to like get a second vote in, but yeah. And looks like Play Birth Me Code won. You don't like using channel points for that? Yeah, I just wanted to. Basically, I'm trying to put channel points to as many things as I can, so I can like rob you of channel points, so it will never get to the webcam stream. Um. But yeah, okay, so I guess we are done with Alex is hot. But what I'm gonna head out then. I'm already 1K, got OT surprised. Um so yeah, I definitely need to read the book, but I'll do that off stream. And though thank you so much, Garrick, also for the bits. But yeah, chat, we're gonna play Birth Me Code then. I'm gonna enable some of the okay. I'm gonna enable the chat rewards again. Let's switch the scene. Not here, here. Uh, but I was starting to get what the book was about. I mean, it's about Pride and Prejudice. Video game trivia was deactivated. What? Get up. No time for years. Okay, Pride but not Prejudice. Okay, so let's change